For the insomniac, the night is long and dull. Empty moment follows empty moment as clock hands dance in taunting circles. There is only stillness, and the steady rise and fall of my chest. My laptop breathes light into the room, a pulsing indicator of the machine's ability to sleep better than the human mind beside it. I sigh, but it ends in a gasp when I spot the hand creeping along my bedroom wall. It's dark. I can only see the outline, but it's definitely there. I wave a timid hand to block the room's only light source, my laptop. It's no shadow. In a flurry of bedsheets, I lunge for the overhead light switch. I'm blinded by the glare, forced to cover my eyes, and when they reopen, the hand has disappeared. I switch the lights back off. The hand is gone. My heart is pounding in my chest, and any chance of falling asleep tonight has vanished along with the ghostly hand. I fall back against the door, letting it hold my weight as I force my heart back into a more natural rhythm. Fingernails on wood. I whirl at the sound, my door rattling as it scraped. Two horrible slashes echo in the room. I dive back to the light switch, overheads flaring brightly, as I swing the door open to find an X clawed into its surface. I dash out into my living room, turning on every light in the apartment, thinking wildly how no one ever does this in horror films. Those idiots just run around in the dark with suspenseful music following them. Only here, everything's silent. The purest quietude I have ever experienced. And it's more frightening than any screeching sound a well-paid violinist might make. Just when my breathing starts settling back into an even pace, the door to my bedroom slams hard. The walls shake from the force of it. I back into the kitchenette, breath erratic once again. My hands find the knife I used to cook my dinner earlier, still unwashed, with the scent of carrots and greens emanating from it. I take it by the handle, only to wonder what damage it could possibly inflict on something I can't see. I hold it anyway. The silence is back, save for the hum of my refrigerator. I glance at it, wondering if I could turn it off to hear better, but the thoughts are cut off by a loud scream as I spot the warped face in the chrome's reflection. The scream is mine as I spin, knife extended, slicing through thin air. I look back at the fridge, and the image I saw is gone. And what an image. I squeeze my eyes shut, recalling the horrible face, matted with chunks of blonde hair, and my eyes snap open. There had been no hands. The figure, a woman I think, had been holding her hands up to her face, only instead of hands, there were two bloodied stumps, as mangled and frightening as her face had been. My breath comes in gasps now as I dig through my pocket in a vain attempt to find my mobile. It's on my nightstand, in my bedroom, the one with the X slashed into it. I swear under my breath, willing my feet forward as I creep towards the direction of the doomed room. The knife does nothing but help me feel less vulnerable. With a muttered curse, I barrel recklessly through the door before I can consider a safer alternative. There's my phone, cradled in discarded clothing. As my fingers snatch it up, the sound of acoustic guitar filters through the open doorway. My guitar, abandoned on couch cushions after a long afternoon of fruitless rehearsal, seemingly strums itself. With breath not so much staggered as completely non-existent, I round the corner to find shadowed, bloodied stumps of hands, plucking the strings at random. If my blood hasn't run cold yet, it certainly does now. The front door is sealed, I soon discovered. I heave at it with all my strength, but it doesn't budge. I'm desperate to escape, but I know there's no hope when I turn to spot the disfigured woman gliding towards me, handless arms reaching. The numbers 911 never felt so complicated to press. She's getting closer, her hands still strumming the guitar on the other side of the room. I'm shouting into the phone with no clue as to whether or not that call has gone through. And then it doesn't matter whether or not I believe in God because I'm praying and crossing myself as she reaches me. My words turn to screams, the ghostly music reaching its peak before complete and heart-wrenching silence. I peek through wet eyelashes and I'm whimpering, a sound I don't ever recall making before this night. The woman is gone, but I see the guitar floating above depressed couch cushions. It quivers in the quietude, soundless, until it falls and shatters on my apartment floor. There's a man's voice in my hand, my phone miraculously still in my grip with the 911 operator on the other end. He's telling me to remain calm, that the police are on their way, but I can't take my eyes off the shards of wood and metal that once composed my guitar. I sink to the floor. The man keeps talking, but I'm not listening. There's nothing he has to say that can pull me of this nightmare. It takes 2 men and a battering ram to get through my front door eventually. It's in shards too by the time they succeed. The officers ask me questions, but the medical examiner pushes them away, but then he's asking me questions, asking where I got these bruises I've never seen before, asking about the scratches on my face that weren't there earlier. I'm bleeding and battered, and they're calling it rape, but there's no one else in my apartment. No way in or out so far as the officers can tell. And what do I say to them anyway? That I was attacked by a ghost? If that wasn't a one-way ticket to a psychiatric ward and a chat with Mulder and Scully, I didn't know what was. So I told them I was fine.